Fani Willis, very unhappy with the Senate, raging at the investigators, saying that if they're upset with her, well, that's just their own prerogative. She uses a little bit of a potty mouth here, something that I know my mother would be unhappy with if she heard me saying the P word. She says, that's not good language, Rob. You're gonna have to clean your mouth out with soap if you keep saying that. So I was always kind of instructed as a young boy to keep that word away. But Fani apparently didn't get the memo. She's getting hit with all sorts of inquiries from local Georgia Senate and now from the United States Senate. She's already told Jim Jordan to pound sand, get out of here. She doesn't want to be bothered. She's too busy drinking her Grey Goose. But now Fani is saying she doesn't care about these inquiries. I don't care if they're all peed off. That's their own problem. They're not my daddy.
Isn't it interesting when we got a bunch of African-American DAs, now we need daddy to tell us what to do? They can keep looking. I'm not interested in them. They can look. I'm sorry they pissed off.
Whoa!
Justice is now actually blind. Lady Justice is blind. Everybody can get it.
Yeah, maybe Nathan told her to go make her a sandwich or something, remember? Because she was very unhappy with that language, and Nathan Wade says that he respects women or whatever that story was. So, all right, that's Fani. Sorry they're peed off at me. I don't care. We're black women prosecutors. We don't need daddies or whatever she was saying. Who knows? But this is what the Senate has sent her way. And of course, they do sound a little bit peed off. Here is what the Senate sent over to Big Fani Willis, the biggest Fani in all of Georgia, who has Grey Goose coming out of her eyeballs. We got the Senate sending this one to her office there in the Fulton County in Georgia. Says, all right, Miss Willis, check this one out. Says, Justice Department of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, we award grants to various local DAs like yourself. In fact, you guys got millions of dollars for law enforcement related projects. Now, according to recent reports, Fani, you may have misused funds from these grants to fund unrelated travel or the purchase of computers and swag, grifting off federal funds in addition to the Fulton County taxpayers. So the Senate says, well, we write today to request information connected to this grant and other federal grants that you got from us. In fact, in 2020, the government program awarded you guys $500,000. Man, that's a lot of Grey Goose. To establish the Fulton County Center of Gang Prevention. I'm sure it went to a great cause. Now, the stated purpose of the center was to provide professional development, academic mentorship, and a community network for youth at risk of becoming involved or continuing in gang activity. I mean, look, first of all, that all sounds great. Like, I'm all in favor of professional development. Love academic mentorships. Great. Don't like gang activity. Don't want our youth to be at risk. You know, all those things are great. But do we believe that some stupid government program dumping $500,000 into it is going to solve that problem at all? Or maybe it's a little bit deeper. It's like a societal problem that requires like culture and family and social order, you know, those things. But no, it's a $500,000 grift. Someone's going to rip it off. Let's watch. According to the reports, the center has yet to open, and the building meant to house it is closed to the public. Its gates have been padlocked. Yeah, so much for the youth over there. Good luck. Hit the streets, punks. Reports have raised allegations that portions of this and other federal grants funded by taxpayer dollars provided to your Fani office were subject to misuse. Oh no, you're kidding. Most recently, the Department of Justice reportedly stated that it found, quote, inconsistencies in what Fulton County has reported to the Federal Subaward Reporting Program. And we were working with them to update their reporting accordingly. Like, it's a little bit inconsistent. Like, this was supposed to go to the at-risk youth, and now we just have cruise tickets. It's a little inconsistent. We can rectify that. Specifically, the inconsistencies relate to $88,900 from your office to the Offender Alumni Association. The At-Risk Youth of America, now it's going to an Offender Alumni Association, whatever that means. So Fulton County records show that the money was transferred, but the Justice Department records reportedly do not. So you move the money, but you didn't tell us. And the reported administrative director of the Offender Alumni Association, so they moved money over, says, I have no idea where that information is coming from. So they contacted them. Hey, where'd that money come from? Did you provide any notice to the federal government that gave that to you? No, the director. I have no idea where that information is coming from. I don't know where I got it. Who cares? It came from Fani. So Amanda Timpson, the former director of the Gang Prevention and the Intervention Center for the DA's office, reportedly notified you, Fani, that an official in your office planned to use the gang prevention funding. And so this is the whistleblower now. So her name is here. Amanda T. says that your office planned to use the gang prevention funding on, quote, on computers and other ineligible expenses. She made the report, fired, such as MacBooks. You're going to go get some new MacBooks, man. They're cool. Swag and travel instead of helping at-risk youth in the community. Yeah, she's going to go to Belize again. Ms. Timpson brought these concerns to your attention, says you can't use your 500 grand from the feds for whatever you want, Fani. Who do you think you are? 2 months later, Fani, you terminated her employment. Get out of here. Do you want a MacBook? Yes or no? Everyone else is like grabbing MacBooks, like they're running out of an Apple store. In fiscal year 2020, the senators are writing to Fani. They say your office got $2 million in federal funding. The Sexual Assault Kit Initiative. See what this goes to. According to the Bureau of Justice Assistance, it's like, how about we just don't pay the federal government all this money and then they don't have to give it back to us for their useless grifts? How about that? According to the OJP's Bureau of Judicial Assistance, Justice Assistance, the office that administers these funds were authorized to address the issues that underline the problem of unsubmitted sex assault kits and to help law enforcement and prosecutors solve more of these heinous crimes. It always sounds great. Here's more money to solve more crimes. Oh, we couldn't solve those crimes yet. What do we do? I don't know. Let's get some more money. Never-ending solution. We just need more money. If we get more money, our kids will be smarter. If we get more money, we'll beat Russia. We can secure a border if we have more money. More all the time. However, data published by Fulton County from 2020 to 2023 that show that Fulton County actually spent 49% of its funding, so not identifying people who have been the victims of a sexual assault who should have justice, but instead spent that on travel and conference expenses, hotel, airfare, rental cars. 28% of that $2 million was actually spent on professional services. Only 28%, less than 1/3, went to forensic and DNA testing. Nothing. 28%, almost 3/4 of it goes to Big Fani. Moreover, in 2023, the Fulton County DA's office spent approximately 98% of its SAKI funding on travel and conferences. These people are sick. They go around and they say that they're helping to fight sexual abuse. Fani will run her Fani mouth and say this all the time. We're prosecutors fighting for women. We stand up for women. In fact, we're working on the OJP Sexual Assault Kit Initiative. And that's why I'm here speaking to you today from my penthouse. The apparent and the significant discrepancy between 98%, it's theft. The apparent and significant discrepancy, it's called theft, that's a crime, between the purpose and the federal award of taxpayer money and the actual use of that money raises alarms that it hasn't been used as Congress intended. So the waste or misuse of taxpayer funds is unacceptable. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's true. It is unacceptable, but they all do it. Therefore, given these recent reports, here's what we want from you, Big Fani. We want a list of all the federal grants received by Fulton County DA. We want a complete accounting of all your expenditures from every federal grant. They don't even have this stuff. They are so disorganized over there. They have nothing, none of this. And they want all records related to the Fulton County DA's planned expenditures for all of the additional federal money that you just keep stealing from everybody. Please respond to this letter no later than May 29th of this year. Thank you for your cooperation. Sincerely, your friends, Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson. So it is just corruption about as deep as it goes. And you can see this is what these people do. So she's going to take that money. She's going to misappropriate it for her trips and her friends and everybody who's just running around pretending like they're serving their constituency. Here's Fani crying. When she was on Belize, she needed somebody to take her trash cans back and forth to the curb. And so the police there helped her out.
An event last night where the men and women of the City of South Fulton Police Department were honored. She's lived in that community for 18 years, long before it was incorporated as a city. She says police have answered the call on countless threats at her home. Willis said the most recent was in December. Someone pulled a hoax while she was away, which led her to panic, thinking that her 26-year-old daughter might be dead inside the home. Of course, that wasn't
It was a hoax while she was away.
Case, and she thanked the officers for always looking out for her.
Okay, get your
The last
tissues.
couple of years have been really hard for me, but what has kept me safe is this police department. And so that's why it's an honor to stand among my heroes. This police department will keep me safe. And so many of y'all did. So many of y'all walked around my house.
Yeah.
So many of y'all showed
my trash
up.
cans out.
That dog showed up daily to just make sure that me and my family were okay. And I can be Madam DA, but at the end of the day, I'm just a single mom trying to raise my children. And it's because of you I'm safe.
Get out of here. All right. She's a home wrecker. She wrecked the Jocelyn Wade household. How about Jocelyn Wade? Now she's a single mom who's having to raise her 2 kids. And you threatened to put her in jail for that. Remember that? You said, how dare she interfere with our investigation? But that's Fani Willis. Apparently Fulton County loves her. So we'll see what Georgia does with her. The notice of appeals have also been filed. Almost forgot those. But this is what is now happening here. So while Fani is crying her eyes out, thanking the police, the Georgia Court of Appeals has accepted the appeal process. So the way this works, very complicated there in Georgia. You got to get permission from the lower level court. Judge McAfee, they got it. Then they'd say, we got permission from McAfee. Hey, Court of Appeals, can we come knock on your door? They say, yeah, you can knock on the door. Why don't you come on in? Once you're in, then you got to file your notice of appeal. And then from there, you file your actual appellate memorandum, which is the actual appeal. It's the big document that we all analyze and review. So this is what the Court of Appeals has said. You can see it's from the Court of Appeals, state of Georgia. Clerk's office says, all right, well, upon consideration of the application for the interlocutory appeal, and the interlocutory is we're kind of in the middle of everything right now. Normally, criminal cases, you appeal at the conclusion of the case, you appeal the conviction, but we're asking for a pause because we've got an issue with Fani. If Fani is disqualified, there's a good argument the whole case is done because her conflict emerged from the source, from the very beginning of the case, because they were in a relationship before the indictment came. It is ordered that it is hereby granted. So the Court of Appeals will be hearing it, says the appellants, so the people who are doing the appeal may file a notice within 10 days. And of course they have. So we've got several of those coming in, including Michael Romans. These are all very simple, 1 page, 1.5 page. We know who she is. Ashley Merchant gets hers in, submitted, saying that we are timely providing notice that we're appealing McAfee's terrible and awful decision. The Georgia Court of Appeals has jurisdiction because it's not one reserved for the exclusive jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, and we designate the entire record on this issue be transmitted. Boom. Ashley Merchant drops hers. David Schaefer gave us a screenshot of his. Very simple page here. Notice is given. We're also filing our appeal. So there'll be a new date, and then we'll get the appellate memos. Trump's is a little bit longer. You can see here they wrote from Steve Sadow. He filed in the Georgia court. Steve Sadow for Trump wrote this one, says, all right, notice is given here that Trump is also appealing this. The trial court granted a certificate of review, that's McAfee, and the Georgia Court of Appeals gave us permission here. And so the defendant designates the entire record for transmission. Of the Fulton County Superior Court, the clerk is directed to omit nothing from any of this. Further, the clerk is directed to specifically include the pretrial hearing transcripts and exhibits admitted or made part on these dates. And further, the clerk is directed to include all sealed court proceedings, transcripts, and documents under the same case number. Court of Appeals has jurisdiction over this matter pursuant to the Constitution of Georgia, not subject to the Supreme Court exclusively, and the Court of Appeals also has jurisdiction, and so please accept our filings. Signed by Steve Sadow. So all the documents are hit. Fani's got to be a little bit nervous out there. Georgia Republican Party is very happy about this, says the Georgia Court of Appeals, chairman of the GOP, Josh McKinnon, says they made the right decision this morning to take up the appeal. The damage done by Fani to the innocent defendants in this ridiculous case and to the wife and family of Nathan Wade, threatening them, will take years to repair, if ever. But this is the first step in cleaning the stench of mendacity, the stinky Fani that has infested the entire courthouse. This simply would not have happened without the unanimous decision to indemnify our presidential electors. We're committed to fighting Fani all the way to put an end to her evil weaponization of our criminal justice system. Signed by Josh McCoon, who's over in Georgia. So that's Fani. She's getting appealed all over the place. I think this is a pretty big deal. The fact that they're accepting this is saying, uh-oh, maybe something needs to go the other way. And McAfee found that Fani needs to go, or that one of them needed to go. Nathan Wade left. So what are they going to say? No, Nathan Wade can come back now? Or is it more likely that they're going to say, no, you should have gone even further, McAfee. You blew it. You should have disqualified Fani. So we'll be here and continue to cover this. We're very excited for when those appellate memos drop. And so hopefully you're subscribed because we'll be covering those when they do. Thank you for also liking this video. Wherever it is you're watching this, we've got some great links down in our description below, including our members only community. We have it on Locals and on YouTube. We're live 6 days a week. We'd love to have you become a membo and join us at watchingthewatchers.locals.com or on YouTube. We'll see you there and back here on the next one.